I've finally reached FC Champion in head-to-head, so today I'm going to share with you my team, my formation, my tactics, and some tips that helped me get there that hopefully could help you guys out as well. So for a while I bounced around Legendary 1, would win a bunch, then lose a bunch, and I could never find consistency, and this is a formation that I had. Now the issue is that from essentially Legendary 1 and up, almost everybody runs the tactic of running down the wing, cross the ball in, and score a header. I'm sure we're all familiar with the cross spammers, and I found the formation that I had right here was way too narrow. So to try to counter it, I moved into a 4-3-3. I had two center mids that I was hoping would handle the wingers, and then my wingers would be able to get into more space down on the other side of the pitch. But I found it hard to defend with this formation because oftentimes my midfield line would be playing way too high up, even if I had the 4-3-3 defending. So then all my opponents had to do was run past my midfield, and then there'd be one-on-one with a defender, and that could be dangerous. So the final formation and team that I settled on was the very odd 4-2-3-1. And the reason for doing this was because the two CDMs were there to handle the plays out wide to the wingers to try to cross in. I had a center attacking mid in Bobby Charlton who was able to drop back and fill in space when needed. I had two wide center attacking mids in Bellingham who has great dribbling, decent physical, and great shooting, who was able to run back and forth because he has high work rates, as you can see here. And a new player to the team was I picked up Zico, who is incredible, 100 shooting, 100 passing, 105 dribbling. He is broken in this game. And because he's high medium, he was also able to run up and down, collect the ball in my half, and run it forward to try to start play with Charlton and Bellingham. And then of course I had the absolute pace demon Mbappe at 116 pace, way up top, so that I could play through balls to him whenever I needed to. Now I actually got the idea of this formation from someone who was in the top leaderboards. I saw they were running it. It had never crossed my mind before, but I thought I'd try it out. And what it essentially allows me to do is now when I defend, I essentially have 7 players back. Vieira, Charlton, Mateus, and then my back 4. That makes things a lot easier for me, and then Zico and Bellingham are able to track back if needed. But when I go on the attack, Mateus usually joins. He then passes it off to Charlton. Charlton, Zico, and Bellingham play 1-2 passes all the way up the field, and then usually either one of them gets free and makes a run, or Mbappe at the top uses his pace to get between lines. And so far, it's worked a ton for me. If we go over to my head-to-head, my final few games, as you can see, I won every single game. I think I went on a 10-game win streak. I have yet to lose with this formation, and the main reason why it works is because I have 3 center attacking mids that are able to track back, that are quick, have good dribbling, a very pacey striker, very defensive minded CDMs, and then a good back 4. So if this is a formation you want to try out, make sure you have those qualities in your team. But of course, if you're someone who likes to cross the ball in, running the 4-3-3 is always a great option, although I would suggest going with a CDM instead of a center attacking mid. And if you're someone who's very good at passing, 1-2 passes, creating runs, laying off the ball, this formation works decently well as well. But this will leave you open to counterattacks and crosses. So with that being said, let's get into some highlights of my final game in Legendary 1 to take me to FC Champion, and I'll break down some important parts that I think are tips and things you guys can learn from to help yourselves out as well. So that was my opponent's team, very good all round, great players to play with in game. So the first thing to highlight here was the fact that I had 2 center attacking mids out wide that were willing to track back and almost clamp down on any wingers or attackers with the CDMs. As you could see, Zico won the ball there, got it forward, and then I tried to make a run but messed it up. In this case, you could see Vieira collect it from deep, pass it off to my center attacking mids. I could then make runs forward into more space and then pass back and forth between my players to try to get a run in. And as I showed before, having so many players back allowed me to clamp down on any attackers very quickly. Now the other thing to note is the fact that I was playing really slow. I found that not sprinting a ton, playing the ball slow, taking my time, making simple passes, not the hard driven, but moving into good space, triggering runs, and waiting for players to move helped me out a lot. Now, as you can see on this build up here, I did take my time, made a few good passes, got a great through ball in, and of course, with Bobby Charlton on the ball, I should have scored that. I messed it up, but luckily because I had those 2 wide center attacking mids, someone was there, and Bellingham was able to slot it in for the first goal. And then for the rest of the game, it was essentially similar things. Every time my opponent would get the ball, I would have one center attacking mid, either Zico or Bellingham, tracking back along with my center defensive mid and my wing back, left back or right back. They would all close in on one of the attackers or two of the attackers. It would put a lot of pressure on my opponent. They wouldn't be able to make good passes. They would oftentimes be dispossessed. And then from there, I could use my CDMs to take the ball forward, pass it off to an attacker, and then from there try to get the end product with Mbappe or one of my forward center attacking mids. And of course, the big thing that helped with that was my formation. The formation was so key, as well as the players. I also have great players in my team. But I think what's the biggest lesson I learned while going through this is slowing the game down. A lot of people try to play really fast, and the faster you try to play, the less time you give yourself to make decisions, make good decisions, and also the harder you make it for your players. They now have to try to control the ball better, make better shots while off balance. Things don't work out. So take your time, move into space, make the best passes you possibly can, and when you get close to goal, the finesse shot is always a great option. If you could get to the edge of the box or just inside the box, the finesse option is incredible. All you have to do is hold down about halfway power, maybe a little bit more if you're further out, angle your joystick towards one of the posts that you want the ball to go to, and let it fly. It usually works best when you only take one touch and shoot, but it works in a variety of different scenarios. But with that, I was finally able to hit FC Champion after quite a few games of grinding. I'm very glad. I hope the things that I share with you today help you guys out as well. And now the next step is to hit FC Champion 1. I'll see you guys tomorrow for rewards, and with that being said, peace.